James, just want to just delve a little bit more into enforcement. Obviously, the RCMP, I'm presuming, is our major enforcement agency when it comes to this. Tell me if I'm wrong on that. Do they have adequate resources to do this job?
You have a couple of different units looking at it in different ways. So the Canada Revenue Agency, the RCMP, and our Financial Intelligence Unit, FinTrack. And we even have anti-money laundering investigators at different subunits of the RCMP and provincial municipal jurisdictions like the OPP. And generally, no. We've coming out of the Pandora Papers, we've seen comments from the Public Service Union saying that they don't have the resources to go after this. There was a quote by a former head of money laundering unit in the RCMP, following up on the Pandora Papers, saying that it's the best time ever to be conducting money laundering in this country and that not enough resources are placed on this. So this isn't just the advocates talking that there's not enough resources. This is the people charged with conducting investigations and oversight saying they don't have the means and there's not enough political will currently looking at this.
And just by saying the way you said it with the RCMP, you've got the OPP, you've got all these different central agencies and other agencies, it sounds like there could be an issue about the level of cooperation. Is that one of the challenges?
There are definitely jurisdictional issues in Canada. And so even when we look at trying to unmask who's behind shell companies, this is why we say we need a pan-Canadian registry, because the changes would happen in the corporate registries. And we have 14 corporate registries in Canada. So it can't just be the federal government making the changes. It has to be everyone doing it together. Otherwise, I don't want to name a province specifically, but one could hold out, not make any changes, and become the Switzerland of Canada. Right. And the RCMP, it's a thing you don't think about, but when it was explained to me that the RCMP even has to pay to conduct searches in corporate registries within Canada to conduct searches, that's another resource wall that I hadn't even thought of. They should have direct access to this information.
So in terms of what Transparency International Canada is doing, you must have then a list of remedies or things you want changed. Maybe just go through that again a little bit.
Yeah, and I kind of asterisk everything I'm recommending was saying there's no silver bullet to fighting corruption and money laundering. It's a number of tools, it's a number of efforts, but there are a couple of key tools. One, as I said, is the publicly accessible registry. There's been evidence that it can be a deterrent effect. In the UK, we've seen it act as a deterrent to people abusing limited partnerships there. And so we need that in Canada. We were really happy to see it announced in the federal budget this year. We already saw the changes to our federal anti-money laundering laws that designated non-financial businesses and professions now have to conduct beneficial ownership due diligence. So those are two big ones. There's the land ownership registry in BC, and there's rumors of other provinces wanting to establish those. Those are good tools. But there needs to be other kind of structural adjustments, say in law enforcement, to get the right kind of capacities in place. It takes years to build up expertise in anti-money laundering. We lost a lot of those people a couple of years ago, about a decade ago, when our anti-corruption unit was disbanded. We need to get those people back in and give them the motivation, give them the resources to be able to conduct very complex, very time-intensive investigations involving terabytes of data. So there's a lot of steps towards this.
Is that part of the issue, that this has become a data-driven exercise? It's not like, getting Al Capone and saying you've been a tax evader. It's masses of data, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very complicated. We're talking about masses of data, multiple jurisdictions that have different rules and need to cooperate together. So even when we say something like offshore, it's a little bit of a dated term, because you think of, say, again, the islands or Europe. What we have to do is look at this as a global network, of which Canada is a hub, and we have multiple networks. And in order to address a network, you need cooperation together, and you need to raise standards across the board.